My name's Robert. I like to make jokes, goof around, and I'm part of the eazyBI support team. And they think that I like to talk and know a lot about report optimization. Well, and yeah, at the end of the presentation, you can be the judge of which one of the two is true. So the word optimization, it inclines that something is not as good as it should be, a negative tone. So something does not work to its full potential and could be improved. Yeah, in one or two words, you guys, can you describe an optimized report? Louder. Fast. Other options? Accurate. No errors. Efficient. Okay.
Easy to read.
Easy to read. Thank you.
Confirms my biases.
No. So what I heard, the first one was fast. As yeah, I expected that. And yeah, a lot of focus on performance and some on the readability of the report. And the report performance depends on a lot of factors, like the source connection, the data model, and the amount of data that it has to envision, the report structure, and the complexity of calculations. So the agenda will be split into two halves. What we won't discuss, I will disclose the things I won't touch upon. And the other part, report optimization, well, we're gonna optimize some reports. We won't discuss anything that is tied to the data model, the reporting engine, the SQL queries, the caches, and yeah, some data center fine-tuning. That's off the table. What we will do is we will take reports and we'll be going out looking for trouble. So how do you know how to, or why actually to optimize the reports? Which reports are worth optimizing? Usually you notice it or some users come and let you know. Another way is looking into eazyBI usage statistics. There's this report, top slow report. That's a good start. You definitely will find some rough gems there. And find one that has impact. A lot of executions, multiple failures. Because like Cacus yesterday said, they had 240 reports, but only a couple of them were really useful and used. So start with those. So now, what follows is not an ordered list, but a way I try to approach slow reports. Like fix the frame first and then tackle the nuances. So the first step, so yeah, this one is ordered. It's the first step. Does the report load? And well, if it does load, it makes our optimization work easier, because then we can see the output and the dimension members and measures. But even if it times out, we still see the report structure, the dimensions, we can expand them, we can see the measures and their formulas. And we can view what members are selected in those dimensions. But if you are anything like me, I'm not really patient, so I like to look into the report definition. And eazyBI has made it really easy with recent updates. You can now look at the structure of the report in collapsible and expandable sections and find the members and measures and their formulas easily. You don't need to export the definition into another text editor. So if the report loads, another first step is switching to the table view. Why? Because it gives you a better overview, it's simpler, and you can see in a good visual way what is in the report instead of like a line chart that seems to go on forever with the multiple lines, and you don't have like the ability to distinguish right away what it shows. And our goal is to optimize the report, not to get insights at this point. So the table does that for us. And let us have a look at this actual report. It was loading 54 seconds, so on the verge of timing out with the default timeout setting. And it was published in a dashboard with similar reports, and those timed out frequently. When we zoom in, the structure is pretty simple, right? And yeah, maybe you can take a look and give me your thoughts. Where could we start first? Thank you, good one. Other options?
Optimizer assistant.
We'll get to that. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Look how many sprints there are.
Good. All good options. Thank you. My first, when I saw this in our support queue, my first instinct was be a optimization cowboy and jump straight into the calculated measure. That's my first instinct. Always has been, but I getting older and wiser, and I start to look at the report structure first. And we see that it has hide empty, like some of you said. There could be a lot of sprints maybe loading. And then we can also have a look at the sprint dimension and its sections individually. So we expand the individual members. We see some calculated members, but they are not active at this moment. Then we look into the all hierarchy level members, and we see that there are 3,000 sprints. That's quite a lot. And what this means, the hide empty option right there, it hides all the 3,000 sprints except these 5 ones. So that's a lot of work. eazyBI has to load all those 3,000 sprints and then hide them. And this tells me that maybe we should load less sprints. And one way we could do it is non-empty option. Or another one is filter rows by a particular measure. That also reduces the report load time from 54 seconds to 2 seconds. So the number of members in a dimension, which is in the report rows, really matters. And the way you can reduce the report loading time is by filtering the report rows or by enabling non-empty option. This non-empty option is always enabled by default for the issue dimension, which is the largest dimension, usually in the JIRA issues cube. And next one is a classic, where we have a multi-dimensional setup in the report rows with the issue dimension expanded. So the members all are expanded, the dimensions create multiplications, and eazyBI has to find the relevant members for each of the combinations. That's really, it slows down the report loading time. And because it contains the issue dimension, we can replace most of it with the issue properties. So there go the linked bugs, there go the assignees, the issue type, and with the project dimension, we can leverage the issue dimension project level. We select the project level and then expand the issues to view the individual issues. Because how issue links work, they don't have a none member. We need to filter out issues that don't have bugs. We can do that with the row filter. And probably we should also filter out issues without story points completed as well. And this was you could say easy mode. With the issue dimension, we can replace most of the columns with properties. On the hard mode, to improve reports with multiple dimensions that don't have the benefit of the issue dimension, you would have to reduce the number of dimensions as much as possible, and then use the drill across action to like add the context for some rows with other dimensions you want to see the results. So another takeaway is the number of dimensions matters as well, and use properties when possible and drill across when not. For report pages, that's the next section I most likely look in. And one thing that bothers me is sometimes the page selections don't make sense. So, for example, look at the selections and determine if other dimensions don't do the work, or maybe some measures do the work. The most, let's have a look at an example first. So this report has 3 dimensions in the page filters and measures revolving around resolved issue metrics for assignees. So the first thing we see is the page dimension resolution. If the metrics revolve around resolution, do we really need the resolution dimension in the pages with all the selections, multiple selections? If the issues have the resolution date, they will already be with the resolution. The next thing to look out for is multiple selections within one dimension. Each selection is evaluated, and maybe you don't need those multiple selections and you can leverage a hierarchy. So, for example, in the time dimension filter, we have 3 quarters, and maybe, just maybe, you also would want to include the 4th quarter, but you don't include it because it hasn't come up yet. I know 2024 is past, but it's an example. You could just use one selection, year 24 only. With the project selection, it's a tougher question because it's those are 3 calculated members that aggregate multiple projects. So in this case, when we select 3 calculated members which already aggregate something, it's actually an aggregation of an aggregation, which creates an additional overhead. So a slightly better option would be aggregating those projects involved in those 3 calculated members into one. Better option would be looking into the project categories. Maybe those projects are from the same categories, and we can leverage the category hierarchy. And still, an option would be creating a custom hierarchy in the project dimension, grouping the projects into like one hierarchy level, a custom one. And that would mean one selection and faster results. So yeah, seek options to, the third thing in the pages is seeking options to reuse dimensions that are already in the report. So in this example, the report is filtered by projects, issue types, and statuses by fixed version, and there are some metrics regarding them. The fixed version is somewhat unique in the way that it has a project level in it, in the default hierarchy. So you could get away by removing the project dimension and adding the fixed version dimension to the pages as well, and filter the project there. That would limit the members in the rows by the dimension selection in the pages, which would make the report load faster. a bit. Let's reuse the same report to look at columns. That's the next option we look at. I look at, not we particularly, but I. And usually in columns we have measures, but for now I will focus on the other dimensions. And here we have the label dimension, which is split into halves, calculated member, software faults, and the all labels, which is the default member. And what clutters the view is the dimensions are duplicated also for the fixed version properties for the version start date and release date. And if we would expand the all labels, it would clutter the view even more. And knowing how the label dimension is used, it would probably mean a lot of columns. So to address both of these issues, we could define a new calculated member, a tuple, calculated measure, which would use the epochs with selected issues in release measure, together with the calculated member in labels. Or if you would like to leverage on the option to expand the all labels for a particular measure, you could remove the labels from the columns and then drill into labels for that particular measure. That would allow you to select the members you want to have and then have the desired split. So, in columns, the number of dimensions matters even more than in rows, because we don't have the option to filter columns, only hide the empty ones. We don't have the non-empty option, which we have in rows. So, yeah, use less or none in columns, or if you do, then try to use ones with less members, fewer members. And when you have multiple measures and properties in the columns, so yeah, try to like split them with the drill into option. So, why we leave measures last? Well, that is a rabbit hole. Whenever I see a report with a measure name I don't recognize, I prepare for the worst. Because, yeah, in the report view, like I discussed, I have 3 places where I can mess up. I can place too many dimensions somewhere, not use non-empty or filter, but they are the frame. So what would a good like calculation do if the whole frame is messed up and the report loads unnecessary members? Yeah, you could waste a lot of time optimizing calculations when the report context is not optimal. And yeah, no visible like improvements would be made with optimizing calculations. That is why I leave measures the last ones, even though, as we have heard, they make up the most. They are responsible for the worst performance usually. So, but yes, some key takeaways about measures. They hold the report together. They tie all the different perspectives, the dimensions together, and yeah, help the reporting engine to return results faster. So yeah, it's all connected, and so use at least one numeric measure in your reports. But there's a caveat. Not all measures are created equally. So yeah, there are total measures, there are historical measures, and work log measures. They differ how fast they retrieve results, marginally, but noticeable in heavy calculations, complex reports, and large environments. So why are they not equal? Well, how many creation, resolution, or due dates does an issue have? 1. Okay, good. How many work logs can an issue have?
More.
A lot. How many changelog entries? Even more. That's why. That's the difference. Why some are faster and some are slower. The next one is abstraction hell. Like, that comes from programming, but I think we can agree that some of it is also in calculations. So beware of nested calculations. Whenever a calculation is calculated measure is based on another calculated measure, go get to the origin of it, because especially when those calculations also iterate through issues again. So the idea would be to try to create one calculation which leverages the filters together in one, instead of iterating again and again, nesting them. Then try to simplify the environment in which you try to optimize the report. So you would want a faster feedback loop if something is working or not. So you create a simpler report that loads a little bit faster. You can see still some differences, but yeah, you don't want to wait a minute every time you make an update. And also leverage the refresh and stop refresh button in the report itself. Use the optimization assistant. It may not always get you the right approach, but it surely will tell you which parts take the longest, and then you have something you can bring your attention to. And yeah, another one is use all the options eazyBI offers you. So for example, in this case, instead of iterating through issues, go use the age interval. Not a lot of users know of these sometimes hidden options, like issue cycles and also issue closed statuses. You can get a lot of information out of already those, well, you could say, gems out of eazyBI. So instead of iterating through issues, you could get by with a simple fast tuple. Yeah, and that's in summary about measures. But yeah, this is just you could say a little part of the whole optimization complex of eazyBI, because we have a lot of other talks about descendants. That was a good one. Then a few years back we had about JavaScript calculations, account optimization, and management. So yeah, go look through all of those examples, not just this one. And I would want to close with regards to the import options and the amount of data that is imported. The number of issues, sometimes it's something you want to know. It's not a universal sign, but it is an indicator of what you should expect. Go find it in the issue dimension, all hierarchy level members section. And yeah, oftentimes you will have to decide in what kind of account you can create which particular reports. So yeah, you have to think, will you go with the big hauler or the speedy two-seater or something in between? Yeah, thank you. That's it.